ukuthi ngomunye umsebenzi eThekwini we-legislature we-civic organization khona futhi no Prakash naye ufake isixoliso ngenxa yokuthi unomunye umsebenzi ukuthi akunakuthina noma amanye i-stakeholder noma abantu esisebenzisana nabo njenge-committee abasijoyinile ba-online bahambisana nathi sinethemba lokuthi akwi-Department of Human Settlement National nawo online uma kunesidingo senzela ukuthi nabo babe khona babe ingxenye yalomhlangano. Kukanti ke futhi kukhona namalunga e-National Home Builders Registration Council nabo ba-online, Masters Builders Association nabo ba-online bathe bazobe bekhona noma kanjani online. Sinethemba lokuthi bakhona. Ngicabanga ukuthi manje babheka lapha ya ohlweni labantu asebesijoyinile ku-online. Ngicabanga ukuthi niyababona bonke laba bantu bayingxenye yalomhlangano. Ngoba sekunezinto zokuxhakaxhaka. Ngizocela ukuthi imember eyodwa ye-staff sethu iye kubaba lapha ya. Nange lapha ngaphambili. Nange nje ufake ikapisi. Cela simlekele ngokuthi sikwazi ukutranslate. Cela ufamsa, can you just raise your hand so that they can see you? Yes. Nangu baba ngicela ukuthi kube khona yedwa eceleni kwakhe ozomtranslate. We also have the Master Builders Association KZN bakhona ne HDA KZN bakhona online. Bonke ama stakeholders esinabo maningana wona ama stakeholders mhlawumbe angabe ngisawasho wonke khona no SHRA no CIDB baningi abakhona nama ward committees baningi ozakwethu abayingxenye yalomhlangano. Kanti futhi la khona ama district esiwahlanganisile amathathu sihlanganise iLembe labo basemandeni sebefikile abakwaDukuza sebekhona salindele iDwetwe noMaphumulo. eMgungundlovu umsunduzi usufikile silindele umngeni umshwathi impende neRishmond. NabaseThekwini nabo sisabalindile kodwa umhlangano sobe sesiqhubeka nawo. Bengithi ke ngicela ukuthi mhlawumbe ngingene uma kuyizixoliso sengishilo ngala ngasesayidini lami angazi noma sikhona yini ezinye ezingabonakalanga ixoliso lezi sengishilo ngicela singabe sisayiphinda sithathe lezi esingakazisho. Zikhona ezinye ixoliso ama apologies aphandle kwalawo sengibashilo azekho. Thank you so much. Then i-agenda yethu yalomhlangano ibithi sizoqala ngo-10 kodwa sesiqale ngo-11 kodwa ngoba sesiqalile ke kuhle besizovula sesikwenzile sibheke nexoliso siphinde sibheke ne-agenda kuyibona sizokwenza sobe sesipresenta ibhili yethu mase sisho ukuthi abantu bazoza kanjani bazofaka imbono yabo. Futhi sizodedela abantu beze phambili bazofaka imbono yabo sobadedela ukuthi bakhulume sobanika ama-minute abantu abazokwazi ukuthi bakhulume bafake imbono yabo kule bill izobe sipresentiwe mase sesiyavala emva kwalokho abantu sebeqedile ukuthi bakhulume konke bafake izincomo zabo njalo njalo sobe sesiya ngasekugcineni ke komhlangano mase sibake nama refreshment lesekubiza ukuthi la emakhaya sithi dinner kodwa kahle hle kuyilunch. So ke sizobe sesoba nesidlo sasemini sesiqedileke kodwa umhlangano. I-agenda ke mengalolo hlobo angiboni ukuthi mhlambe kukhona okunye okungabe kuhlukile. Please help me. I want someone who's going to do that translation, please, so that. He said it's fine. I'm comfortable if that's the case. Other members are going to be joining us as a few other texts are arriving, but we're continuing with our meeting. Ngicabanga ukuthi angizokhuluma kakhulu ngalo umthetho osivivinywa esizokhuluma la ngoba kukhona ungoti kuwona abazosinika bona. Kukhona siqhamuka naye kwi-legislature, bazoba babili. Sizomnika omunye uzakwethu ozofike asipresentele ngesilungu, mase ngiphinde nginika ukuthi uzakwethu omunye aphinde-ke ebese sihumushela ngesizulu. Lo mthetho wesivivinywa esize ngawo la okumele kakhulukazi nezokuvikela abathengi bezindlu nento ezithintene nokwakha. Uzoyichaza-ke kakhulu, mhlawumbe zobe sengibuya mina ngasekugcineni sebechazile, senginika-ke lokhu nje okuncane okumbalwa siqhubeke lo mhlangano. Ngaphandle kokuthi-ke ngichithe isikhathi, Monica, can I allow you to do the presentation, just a summary of the bill as we proceed? So we'll give you first, and then we'll give the Zulu presentation. Thank you so much. Over to you.
On behalf of the KwaZulu-Natal legislature, we are required by Section 118 of the Constitution to facilitate public hearings. So it's a constitutional requirement that we facilitate public hearings by coming to you, getting your comments as after we present the bill. And when you give us your comments, we then take them into consideration in seeing whether we need to amend that legislation, whether we need to accept it as it is or to reject it. So your comments and inputs are very important as it's a constitutional requirement. So as the chair has said, I will very briefly go through the bill in English, because I think we also have some people online who may not be able to understand isiZulu as well. And my colleague will then translate the bill into isiZulu. So if you have a copy of the bill, one. The bill is known as the Housing Consumer Protection Bill. And you can see it says a bill of 2021. And the reason it's a bill for 20 introduced in Parliament. And the purpose of this bill is the old bill. We have an old bill which was passed in 1999 that regulates the housing industry. Because the whole purpose of this bill is for people who build their own homes, or municipalities, as well as the departments that build social housing. So this bill has been brought by the National Department of Human Settlements, together with NHRBC. Both of them have found that they want to strengthen the home building industry, because we are all consumers of houses, so that when we build our houses, we are protected. So that is the main purpose of this bill. And the Department of Human Settlements have said, and NHRBC have identified that the current law has got some challenges. That's why they have now introduced this new bill. If we can go to the purpose, I've said it's for adequate protection of housing consumers. They also want to make sure that the building industry is more effective. They want to strengthen the regulations. They also want to introduce more harsh penalties for people who are build your home, they don't do a good job and then they disappear. The penalties before used to be about 25,000. You will see as I proceed with the bill that those penalties are now increased up to about R1 million. So that is the main purpose of this bill. If I can take you to chapter 1 very briefly, there's some definitions there. I will just highlight a few. The first definition is what is covered by NHRBC. Because remember, if your home has not been built properly, you can actually go to NHRBC and make a claim. But for your home to be covered, your home must be a permanent structure, which is used for residential purposes. A home also means social housing or housing programs. It will also include retirement, boarding facilities, share blocks. And a home does not just mean the home where you sleep in, it can also mean a storeroom. So if you're building a storeroom or a garage or even a wall, if anything happens to any of those projects or those buildings, then those will also be covered by this bill. The second and important, so a home builder, don't think of just the builder that we employ to build your home. A home builder can also mean you. Any person who builds their own home or renovates their home will also be regulated in terms of definition is the home warranty fund. That in section 35. And this fund is the one that they're going to be using to assist you as a homeowner what they were supposed to do. This fund can be used so when the builder has disappeared, and if you have followed all the processes, then you are able to claim this fund. So it's important that you understand how you can claim from this fund. Building, as I said, does not just mean building a home, it includes renovating. So if you've already built a house like this and you are doing renovations or you're doing installations, whether it is electrical, plumbing, or you're doing alterations, you're changing this room to another one, or you're doing renovations of the roof, that will also be covered should anything go wrong. Another important definition is major structural defect, which means what can you actually claim for? Because you can't just claim for anything. Major structural defects will mean a defect which leads to your home being very severely damaged so that it affects the integrity of the home, and it may require a complete rebuilding or partial building of that home, which means it's very extensive repair work that will need to be done. Now, the one thing that is, if the house or the dwelling does not have its own bathroom or its own kitchen. So if you're building just a 2-roomed house, but it doesn't have a bathroom or a kitchen inside, it's exempted from this act. Also, if it is a shack, if it's a temporary building, or if it is part of an informal settlement, that will not be covered. A hotel and hotel businesses end from this act. Chapter 2 briefly speaks about NHRBC itself. Previously, those who know it, it used to be known as the National Home Builders Registration Council. They were just focusing on registration. But now they're going to be known as the National Home Building Regulatory Council. So they're going to be focusing more on the building, not just to do the registration. And the NHRBC is going to have a board. They already have a board. They must report according to PFMA. And then you'll find in section 6 to 24, it talks about the term of office for their meetings and their staff and all that. Section 14 is about their function, what they have already been doing, which is keeping a database of builders and developers. So they have a register in the database of builders. So if you want to go and check whether your builder is registered with NHRBC, this is one of their functions. They must keep that database. They also have to enroll homes. When you start building, that home must be enrolled. So there's an enrollment register, which they also have to keep. They also have to do inspection of homes, because if you have a claim, an inspector will be sent to ensure that the claim you're talking about is actually what has happened. So they're going to have inspectors. Another major function is that they have to train people who are in the building industry. And they also have to go out and teach us as consumers of homes, to teach us of our rights and our duties. And they also have to advise the Minister of National Department on matters relating to the home building industry. Chapter 3 is really about how they're going to do the registration. And they're saying that anybody can access that register, and it will show you the grading of a builder. It will show you if a builder has been penalized, or if a builder has a case against them, or if a builder has been suspended, or if a builder's license has been cancelled. then you can be able to find that information from NHRBC. They will also, in section 25 and 26, they will prescribe you want to register as a builder, then they determine the kind of fees that will be charged. And most important, section 27 says they have the power to also cancel or suspend any registration of a home builder. Chapter 4 is about enrollment, and it says that when you instruct a builder to build your home, you have to make sure that your home is enrolled. And this enrollment must be done before the building starts. And it's important to get the building started. And the reason for this, you will see, is they will come from the day when you started building, you're covered, up to 5 years after you finish the construction. So if anything happens, then they look at those dates. And if it is for the roof, they will check from the date that you started building. If the roof is 2 years after, I think it's important in section